Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. I'm pleased to be joined again by Joe from Turfcast. I'm not so sure he's pleased to be joining me to discuss Burnley. But Joe, what's your... I always start with what's your thoughts on your season so far. So I'm going to stick with it, although I think I know what the answer might be.
Yeah, obviously it's been one to forget, hasn't it? It's for me, it's my least favourite ever season following Burnley, which is a bit of a come down because I say last year is my favourite ever season following Burnley. I know we've achieved more in my lifetime than what we did last season. Obviously, finishing seventh and then getting to the Europa League qualifiers. That's more of achievement than winning the Championship. But just the way we did it, the way we played football, and how we won the league and where we won the league, it was just all perfect. Like you couldn't write a script better than that. But obviously, in contrast to that, you couldn't write a script worse than that. Like in the conversation to be one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in Premier League history, which I think is a bit harsh because yes, Derby were horrendous that year. Sheffield United are a lot worse than us, but it's embarrassing for us that we're actually on the same points as them. Like I saw them against Arsenal. I've seen them a few times. They are horrendous. How we're on the same points as them is embarrassing to the point where they could actually finish above us because we've got to play them yet at Bramall Lane. So if they finish above us and we finish bottom, I still think that they'll be worse than us. But that just shows how bad that we've been. Like we do have like little pockets of quality, but we just don't do it for 90 minutes. Like the game at Turf Moor is the perfect example. Better side without really dominating, 1-0 up, throw it away. You didn't have to get out of second gear. Like we just handed you the goals, and we do it every single week. Like we give silly goals away. Liam Vizzy, who some people who watch the channel might know, he's a Burnley fan. He doesn't do Burnley specific content, but he does sometimes help out on our channel. He does a fan reaction at the end of every match, and he'll send me one in. What he just says is, all you have to do to beat Burnley is wait. And it's bang on. Like, you don't actually have to do anything. If you just sit in your formation and let us have the ball, we will do nothing with it. We won't create any clear-cut chances, or if we do, we'll miss them. And then you'll just capitalise on a mistake or something like that, and you'll win the game comfortably. And that's probably what will happen this weekend. Like, we do have a random decent draw in us every now and then, like we drew at the Amex, for example. So who knows? That's probably best we can hope for this weekend. But it'll probably be a carbon copy of the game at Turf Moor, mate. You'll sit back, you'll wait, and then you'll just hit us when we're dallying on the ball or making mistakes.
Where's it all gone wrong for you? Because I'll be honest with you, I've seen quite a bit of you last season, actually, in Championship. Yeah, I felt like you were on TV every weekend. It's like you were last season's West Brom. This season, I feel like West Brom's on the TV every weekend at the moment. Whenever I put Sky on, there's West Brom. So I caught a lot of you last season, and perhaps naively, I thought you'd do all right this season. I don't think you would have got top 10 or anything. You might have been in a relegation battle, but I expect you to stay up okay, perhaps. Yeah. So where's it gone? What's happened? Why are you so bad? Because I can only agree what you've just said there. You look at how embarrassing Sheffield United are recently, and ultimately you have the same points as them.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. We are better than Sheffield United. I will put that out there, but it's just, I don't understand how we have the same points as them when I look at them and I look at us, but we do. We are better than them. Watch this. They'll beat us 4-0 at Bramall Lane or something. But in terms of your question, where's it all gone wrong? How long have you got? Like, there's been a lot of mistakes, mate, from recruitment, management, players. I was like you. I went on several shows at the start of the year thinking Burnley would be similar to Brentford this year. Brentford have kind of flirted with relegation, but never really been in any trouble. Some people have gone, oh, Brentford every now and then they'll win a game, and they're nowhere near really. That's what I thought Burnley would be like. I actually said we'd finish somewhere like 14th, which is probably where I think Brentford will go on to finish. But at the start of the season, last season we had a lot of loan players. So there was Ian Martson, Nathan Teller, and Taylor Harwood-Bellis, who were three lads in the team every single week on loan. You could include Jordan Bayer in that, but we signed Jordan Bayer, so he's still here. But he doesn't play a lot this season because he's injured. So then I guess you can include him in that. There's four players there that were a massive part of our team last year that haven't played this season. Like Ian Martson didn't want to come. He had higher aspirations. He wanted to break into the Chelsea first team, which I think he were playing in pre-season quite a lot in the friendly, so he probably felt like he could. He obviously didn't, and now he's at Dortmund, obviously a much bigger club than Burnley, and you can't really criticise him for saying, I don't want to go to Burnley when he's playing at a club like Dortmund. Nathan Teller, top of the Bundesliga. Like, he is literally, in my head, the reason why Bayern's dominance is over, because of Nathan Colour. I mean, he hasn't played over much, really, in seriously, but he was such an important part last year to us. And I always find it bizarre that a lot of fans still always say that we don't miss him that much. Like, I think he was our leading goal scorer last season. He was the outlet. Like, the amount of times that he would be on the last leg of defenders who would be playing a high line stupidly against us in the Championship, which is something we could capitalise these days, because obviously teams are just going to push us back in the Prem because they know how poor we are. And Muric should just spank the ball upfield, a long pass, not a long ball because it's not aimless, straight to Teller. He'd be so fast, he'd be in there. And the amount of goals we got from that, and we are missing that this year. We really are. Taylor Harwood-Bellis, there's been some ridiculous comparisons to him and Dara O'Shea this year. Some people saying that we signed the better defender in Dara O'Shea. We haven't. Taylor Harwood-Bellis was fantastic. He's doing very well now at Southampton. And he will go on to be, in my opinion, I think he's England under-21 captain, so I think he'll go on to be the England captain sooner rather than later, probably within the next 5 years or so. Definitely part of the England team anyway. And we brought in Dara O'Shea to replace him. Now, I don't want to criticise Dara too much. I feel like I'm doing that every single week. But he's like a good player with a mistake in him, but he makes a mistake every single week that leads to a goal. So it's becoming too much. He did it again at the weekend. He had his back facing the player and facing the goal, as you're supposed to, but obviously he's not paying attention to where this, I can't remember it was, I think it was Semenyo or Clive, I can't remember, and he just wasn't paying attention to where he was, and then all of a sudden he's in behind, and Dara O'Shea's just caught lapping again. It's just all the time. Sam, another lad who comes on the show, summed him up perfectly. It's like, just in his head there's just lift music playing, because he's just not paying attention. He's just goalless. Like, he's a good player between them mistakes and makes some good challenges, and that's why a lot of people have this debate of, who's better, him or Harwood-Bellis? Harwood-Bellis didn't have these mistakes in him. He made a couple over the course of the season, but Doris, he's been making one every single week. So then we've changed the entire team. And then not only that, there's been obviously Muric, who was in net, replaced by Trafford. Trafford isn't good enough at this stage. Again, he will be good enough. He will be the England #1 goalkeeper. But at this stage, he's not good enough for Premier League football. And then you've got Muric on the bench, just sat there doing nothing, not played a Premier League game this season, despite Trafford making mistakes every single week. Well, every single week's harsh. He didn't make one at the weekend, but he's made a lot of mistakes leading to goals. Liverpool springs to mind. Palace springs to mind. Luton springs to mind. So it's just there's just been a lot of errors. Like, all this recruitment's been wrong. Kompany's made a lot of mistakes. I've just mentioned the Trafford thing there. I don't know why he's insisting on sticking with him, but for some reason he is. He's just being stubborn. At the start of the season, I've mentioned the lad that went to Dortmund. I've just had a brain fart. The defender, the left back situation. Ian Martin, yeah, sorry, yeah. Obviously, just mentioned him. I don't know, I couldn't think of him. But for some reason, he was desperate to try and recreate the role that Martin was doing without Martin. So we had a perfectly good left back on the bench, the only natural senior left back at the club in Charlie Taylor. And he just wasn't playing him because he can't do the Martin role very well. So he tried Delcroix at left back, who's a centre back. Didn't work, got murdered. Tried Connor Roberts at left back, who's a right back. Didn't work, got murdered. Tried Amin Al-Dakhil. He just beat these little things. Kompany is making a lot of mistakes. He's being stubborn. But I sit here as a 36-year-old man criticising Viincent Kompany, who's 1 year older than me. He's 1 year older than me. And people, I think Burnley fans need to remember that. He's young. And yes, we've made a lot of mistakes this season with him, but he's going to get better. But this season's a write-off for me. This season's done. It's dusted. We're down. Some people still say, if Everton get another 6 points off and then so do Forest, yeah, Luton will stay up because of that. We need to have a massive turnaround in fortunes and form, and I've seen nothing from us to suggest that it could happen.
So to sum it up, would you say that the issue is just inexperience? I appreciate that's quite vague when there's a whole host of other problems, but your manager's inexperienced at this level and possibly got found out a little bit. Your keeper will go on to become a good keeper, but at the minute he's not there yet. Your team's just it just feels like it's full of potential. And
exactly that.
And in January, I seen you went and signed a centre back. Is it Esteve? Is that how you pronounce his name? Steve.
Yeah.
The electronic version of Steve. He signed Steve.
Burnley fans have just calling him Steve. That's just what we're calling him.
I'm fine with that. David Moyes would call him Steve as well. So you signed Steve, And I thought, who's this guy? I never heard of him. I thought I'd seen he was a 21-year-old centre back from the French league, and I thought, like, I feel like you're screaming out for like an experienced leader to come in there just for 6 months, even just to take control of the back and just provide a bit of experience in there for your young team. And you went and got another player with potential, and I just thought, like I don't know, it just didn't feel like the circumstances to bring in another player that might go on and become a really good Premier League player. That's all very well, but I think when you've got a team full of them, it becomes a bit of a problem, really. And I think it just feels like a bit too inexperienced at Burnley at the minute.
Yeah, a lot of the recruitment, like I've mentioned recruitment already, but a lot of the recruitment, if not all of the recruitment, has been signing young up-and-coming players that we can sell on for a profit when they maximise their potential. James Trafford, yes, I've already criticised him in the show, and it has been dreadful. I'm still very confident that we'll make a profit on James Trafford in 3 years, for example. Yeah. Like, he will be a very good goalkeeper, and by then he will have bulked out a bit, and he won't. The problem with Trafford is he's like 3 stone wet through. Like, he looks like a boy when he's playing football. Like, you look like you're watching a boy, not a man. But I think he's like, 19, 20, 21? So eventually he'll fill out, eventually become more confident, eventually become a better goalkeeper. And I do still think we'll make a profit on him. But yeah, look at Luton, for example. Like, they brought in Ross Barkley and Andros Townsend. Andros Townsend, funnily enough, was actually with us in pre-season, played pre-season games with us, lived in a house around the corner. Someone told me like this address that he was living in, so I used to walk my dog past. I used to see his car there, like registration was something like Andros T or whatever on this big Range Rover. I'm like, hey, that'll be a good sign. And they were playing really well in pre-season. We played against Benfica, I think it was, and he was the best player on the pitch. For whatever reason, the club didn't want him. I was told he failed his medical, but he's been absolutely fine at Luton. I think the problem was his knee, because he'd had some issues with his knee, and I was told like he wasn't doing his rehab properly and stuff like that. But he's been absolutely fine at Luton. But they've brought in these 2 players with a lot of Premier League experience who can dig deep when they need to, can drag the players through these tough moments. We don't have anybody like that, and I do feel like that's just something we missed out on. And yeah, inexperience is vague, but it's if you could sum up our season in one word and why it's gone wrong, inexperience is the perfect word, because Viincent Kompany's not experienced at this level as a manager. None of the players are. Obviously, you've got a couple in there like your Jack Corks and stuff, but he doesn't play much. Same with Jay Rodriguez. And the board as well. Like, the board aren't that experienced at this level. And yes, they're still relatively new to football compared to most owners. They bought us halfway through the season we went down, I think, or just at the start of the season we went down. So yeah, they have not been at this level much as owners. And I think that their mantra in the transfer window and in the recruitment was just young, sell on, because they're thinking profit, obviously, in their heads, because they're owners. They want the books to look good. They want profit and money coming in. But they've not thought about the footballing side of it, I think, in that part, where they've thought we're also going to need a couple of drops of experience, maybe one at centre-back, maybe a keeper. Because Luton as well, like, I'm not his biggest fan, but Kaminski, he's an experienced goalkeeper. He's been there and done it. He's at the other end of his career, whereas Trafford's just starting to come. Kaminski, this time in 5 years, will probably be retired. Apologies to Kaminski if he watches this and he's only 31, for example. I don't know his age. But I feel like he's at the other side of the age spectrum. But yeah, inexperience is the perfect word to sum up our season, if you could sum it up in just one word.
Right, second last question on Burnley. I need this for context, because I've got a question later on that requires this question first, which is, what's your thoughts on Viincent Kompany? Where do you stand on him remaining as Burnley manager?
Yeah, I'm still VKing, if I'm honest with you. I don't particularly see the point at this stage, but that's not my main reason of sacking him. But obviously, you've got to look at that as well. Like, we're down. Like, what is the point in getting rid of him now? People keep saying, like, let's give it Mike Jackson till the end of the season and then regroup in the summer. Like, why would you do that? Because then you've got this 3-4 months of like not really knowing what's going on. Then you've got to find a manager again in the summer. That could take another month on top of that. And then this manager might come in and want a different play style. So then we're going to need to completely rip the team apart and start again. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me why people are suggesting that. I get that some people might want Kompany out. I get that a lot of people keep saying they want somebody held accountable for the season, which is fine. Just say they've all just not been good enough. You don't need to start sacking everybody left, right and centre. It's bizarre, because I know that literally every other single club in the country would have sacked him by now. But I just don't see the point at this stage. And like I said, he's like, 9 months older than me. He might look 15 years older than me, but he's still a young, inexperienced manager who is going to get better. I don't see him as another Lampard. I don't see him as another Gerrard who's just going to get another job after Burnley, not do very well there, then just go into obscurity. And you might see him on TNT once a month, for example. I do think he's got a good career in management. I just think we need to stick by him, let him grow, let him get the experience that he needs, and then we will reap the benefits from that. But the problem is now we're at a stage where the fans have started turning. More people are still Kompany in than Kompany out, just probably about a 60-40 split. But it is starting to turn. And if we just get spanked every single week, by the end of the season, the minority will have become the majority, I think. And then you've got next season. Like, we had a slowish start to the Championship last time because we completely ripped the team up. As I've just said, there's no point doing that again. We completely ripped the team up and had to bring loads of players in for Viincent Kompany's style and the Viincent Kompany way. So he had the patience from the fans. If we have a slow start again next season, there won't be any patience there. And the problem is if we go up again, there's not another free hit there. Like this season, a lot of fans have been like, oh, well, fair enough. He's still quite young and this is a young, inexperienced team. We'll show some patience. That patience won't be there then. So he's going to have to do very well next season. And then if we go up, he's going to have to do very well the season after. Because obviously, if we don't go up, I don't think he's still there. But if we do go up, he probably will still be there. And that'll be his 4th year at Burnley then. And his 2nd year in the Prem. And we won't be able to start on the opening day getting spanked again like we did this year. And everyone thinking, well, it's probably going to be a dreadful season. And then just getting spanked every single week. He's going to need to have shown that he's learned from this experience.
Love that. Right, from your team to my team, what do you make of West Ham?
Yeah, decent side. Obviously doing quite well in the league. Just quickly get the league table up in front of me. I think you're 5th or 6th. Oh, you're 7th. There it is. 7th. So, yeah, I mean, I know there's been a lot of noise about Moyes, which, I mean, I've just literally just gone on about Kompany and how I'd stick by him, even though we're in the conversation being one of the worst teams ever. So a lot of the West Ham fans who is your most successful manager in my lifetime out, are probably thinking that I'm an idiot for wanting to keep him. But I don't see why there's so much noise about Moyes. The only thing I can think of is the style of play, or fans have just become a little bit bored of having the same manager because he's been there quite a while now. But yeah, a couple of wins on the bounce I think you've had recently. That's coming after a few defeats though. But obviously still in the is it the Europa League you're in? It is.
Yeah, it's the Europa League.
Yeah. So yeah, I quite like West Ham. I think they're a good side. I think they're one of the better sides in the Premier League, and there's a reason why you're in the top 10, well, top 7, and fighting for European places again. And that'll be the 3rd year in a row, won't it? If you get
this is the 3rd year.
This is the 3rd year in a row. Wow, that's insane. For where West Ham have been in my life, yes, they're obviously a big club. I'm not saying they're not, but obviously they've been in the Championship. They've flirted with relegation a lot, and to be potentially playing in Europe for a 4th season in a row. That would be massive for West Ham, and yeah, I don't get all the noise about West Ham or about Moyes, unless it's a style of play thing. But even then, I didn't necessarily like the Dyche style of play. I just put up with it because we were doing well for the majority, and it just is what it was. Whereas I'm at the opposite now. I'm putting up with dreadful results because I kind of like the Viincent Kompany style of play. But yeah, that's not been very entertaining to be fair this year. But yeah, I like West Ham. Good side, got some good players, and yeah, I think it could be a cricket score this weekend, but hopefully not.
Well, you've just answered my question, actually, because I was going to ask you about your thoughts on Moyes, and it is around the style of play, and I think it's only around the style of play. There might be some others with grievances towards Moyes, but I think ultimately the main thing is the football boring at times, and at times dreadful. When we played yourselves, we weren't good. We won, but we weren't good.
Yeah, on that. Gifted it, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't deserve to win that game, and I think there's too many of those games where the feeling has we perhaps haven't deserved to win, or that our goalkeeper, like against Everton on Saturday, we won 3-1, but our man of match was the goalkeeper. And when you score 3 goals, usually the best player is an offensive player in the team, but it's our goalkeeper, and it's not the first time it's happened. So there's plenty that still want Moyes to stay, but there's plenty that want Moyes to go, and it does come down to playing style. And I was going to ask you about that because you've seen Dyche with not the most pleasing football to watch or entertaining football, but yielded results. But now you've also had really good football with results last season in the Championship, and now you've got trying to be good football, and the results aren't coming. And I know there's a bit in the middle, which is what you had last year, which is the football's better and the results are there as well. So it's just interesting to get your take on that, because I think you've seen all variations. You've seen Dyche be successful and Dyche struggle. In the season you went down, and obviously he got sacked, but you still struggled that season with not the best football to watch. You've had the good football, good results. Now you've got the trying to play good football, but bad results. So thank you for your take on it. I think you're one of the supporters. There's not that many clubs we can speak to have gone through all in a short space of time in terms of style versus results in that argument. Turning our attentions to Sunday then, I think I know your answer. However, how do you see this one going?
Comfortable West Ham win, mate. It's not been a great season, as I've mentioned. It's been a slog. There's been a lot of games where you're just turning up and it's a procession. Like, you're going to get beat. And it's one of them this weekend. Like I said, West Ham, I know after everything I've just said about Moyes, and I do think you should stick by him, I know they're a weird side where you can just throw in a bad performance. And like I said, we're a side that, like against Bournemouth at the weekend, we got beat and we got beat comfortably, and we never really looked like winning the match. I
thought you were the better team.
Well, that's what I mean. We were the better team, but we were the better team and we controlled the game in the middle. In defence, we were dreadful. Up front, we were dreadful. And that's why we never looked like winning. Yes, we were the better team. I agree with that. But we never looked like winning the match because we weren't really creating the chances. And every time they attacked, our defenders just looked ridiculously poor, as they have done all season. You're a far better side than Bournemouth. The league table says that. If you have that front four playing, I honestly think that they can cause us a lot of problems. I'm hoping that your Europa League game on Thursday will kind of sort of like bring a bit of tiredness in. Not injuries as such, but, maybe a couple of knocks, like Bowen and Ward-Prowse. We're like, well, it's only Burnley. We'll rest them and then they'll be back next week. But I said that to the Bournemouth fan because they played Leicester on Wednesday or Tuesday and they beat us comfortably. So, my only hope is that the Europa League match gives you a couple of knocks or some tired legs or something, and you can see that in your legs. The only difference is, obviously, Bournemouth were at home against Leicester. You're away in Germany. So, again, flights and stuff. That is a hope of mine. But, yeah, you're a far better side than us. And I think if the quality of the two sides is shown, you will win the game and you'll win it comfortably.
Just for people watching for context, we've recorded this on Thursday during the day prior to West Ham playing against Freiburg. So in case you're wondering why we're not referring to the game itself, it's not played yet. We don't know what's happened. Can I get your score prediction, please, Joe?
3-0 West Ham. I think I'm not, like I said, I'm not. Mate, I genuinely, it's not been. If you can put 3 past Everton, mate, with defenders like James Tarkowski and Jared Branthwaite, then trust me, you can put 3 past Burnley. That's just not. I know you said you laboured and your goalkeeper with a man of the match and stuff, but for me, your goalkeeper won't need to do much, even if we dictate the play in the middle, which we won't do when you look at players like Souček and stuff in there. Like, it's just not going to happen for us.
Yeah, I feel a bit sorry for you, truth be told. Sometimes when I do these previews with other fans, they get me a little bit nervous ahead of the game. The one I did with the Freiburg fan got me a bit nervous, truth be told, because he was saying, they've won 1 game in 10. He said, but the atmosphere around the club's really good. They're prioritising the Europa League. We've already played them twice this season, beat them twice, so they're up for it. They want a bit of revenge. It got me nervous. By the end of the video, I was thinking, oh, no, I'm not looking forward to this anymore. But listening to you, I'm actually starting to look forward to the game on Sunday more and more. And there's another game to play before then. So you've got another way for me. So I hope you're right. Joe. But thank you very much for joining me. You guys at home have enjoyed it. Please do drop a like, comment by clicking thumbs up and subscribing to Hammers Chat. I will be doing a video with Joe over on the Turfcast channel as well. I'll put a link to that video in the description and it'll be on your end slate in approximately 5 seconds time. So go check that one out because I'll be in the hot seat answering questions from Joe. But until next time, catch you in a bit.